You've never seen a correlation of a player goes here and then your city gets better.
It's a stupid argument anyway. The bubble was the bubble.
Great fucking take. LeBron had more pressure than Michael Jordan in his playing career. Rich Paul, he went on Gilbert Arenas podcast. He discussed
LeBron's antlers is in platinum and Michael's may be in gold. Why? Because when you think about, he had to be compared to Mike. Who did Mike have to be compared to?
funny podcast. Shout out to them. I think everybody agrees with that, though. I don't think that's like a hot take.
It's the way he said it. Like, I mean, you just like act like Larry Bird and like Magic Johnson like don't exist. I can understand that LeBron had more pressure because when Jordan was coming up, we didn't all have smartphones. LeBron had more pressure because he came up when social media was coming up and everyone had eyes on him. That's why. It's not about the landscape of the league. There were always great players before, going all the way back to Bill Russell.
I think Jordan was a great player, but I don't think anybody had these expectations for him to be the best player ever.
Back then, and it's why Hakeem went one, is because the only way you could win was with a big guy. Jordan was the first like guard. I guess Isaiah Thomas too, but like
to really take over.
Isaiah hadn't won when Jordan was drafted yet. Like he was still young too.
It wasn't until like Jordan late in his career became that guy, and it was just like, all right, when are you going to win a championship? Well, with LeBron, obviously he was supposed to be the savior, the greatest prospect ever, and he was chasing ghosts. He was already chasing Jordan because his expectation was to be the next Jordan, right? With that being said, that he didn't win, he went to Miami. The scrutiny of the peak of social media and people like slandering you and making these memes and people talking about you and like these sports shows of how many media outlets. Back then it was just like a paper.
The Daily Gazette was talking shit, like instead of billions of Twitter trolls.
Social media, Instagram, Facebook.
Skip Bayless.
Like you had the arch enemies now. Like, so I mean, yeah, the scrutiny is different, but I mean, and like the pressure was different because he had to live up to Jordan's expectation, and that's where the problem comes in. The social media is an aspect of it, but it's just the fact that he was chasing ghosts and trying to be better than Michael Jordan.
It's also, LeBron was constantly scrutinized because in high school, you had tens of thousands of people watching his high school games. He's 17 years old. He's the greatest prospect anyone's ever seen. And then he gets drafted number one to his hometown team to save the city. The finances of Cleveland from LeBron getting drafted, like Cleveland like started like as a city, started to prosper a little bit. Like you've never seen the correlation of a player goes here and then your city gets better. Yeah. So not even just the team, but like the everything else.
He was 5% of the economy.
Exactly. Again, the social media plays into it, and like the decision that he did, the decision to go to Miami, the whole telecast thing. Like if LeBron was just like, I'm signing with Miami, people would be like, all right. Yeah. It's just his decisions. Everything that he does is under the microscopes.
So let me ask you this. If Steph Curry won in the bubble, would he have the same disrespect as LeBron?
Not as much. Probably a little.
I think he would. I think there's just negative people exist on all sides of the spectrum. It's a stupid argument anyway. The bubble was the bubble. Some parts of it were harder than a normal championship. Yeah. Some parts of it were easier than a normal championship. Like it's not one way or the other.
Great fucking take. And you know why I don't understand this whole like Lee Mickey thing and all this other shit? Because he won championships before that. I can see if that was his first one. Then I can understand. But he did the 3-1 comeback. He won 2 in Miami. He's been to multiple finals. You know what type of player he is. That's what I just don't understand. Now, Steph, I think if he was in the bubble, I do think it would be a different agenda because I think people still look at LeBron as like this choke or somebody that doesn't have this mentality of a killer, right? Mm-hmm. I think people still look at LeBron as that way. With Steph, it would have just heightened his fucking career or his status of who he is as a player, right? Because I think people look at Steph as a killer.
It's a catch-22 for LeBron because, like, he won it. It's the Mickey Mouse Championship. It doesn't really matter. If he lost it, people would be like, you couldn't even win in the bubble. You're a fucking loser.
Yes. If Steph had won, then the people who say, oh, he needs... And, you know, he fucking won without KD. But it's the people who say, like, oh, half of his ring are KD rings. Like, no, you're just a sour person. And so this is what you're choosing to, like, talk about. And if Steph had won in the bubble, then that sour person would just be saying that instead of the KD stuff.
Remember, it was 73-9 without KD. So that is true.
End of story. Nothing happened after that.
But bullshit happened. Does JBobby make you angry? Well, that's good. Let us know in the comments. Like and subscribe, baby.